Right, wonderful. Great. Well, hi everyone. My name is Meto Koloski. I'm the co-founder and board member of UMD. I served as its inaugural president, and I'm really excited to be part of this conversation back and forward with UMD. On our screen, you'll see an infographic our designer Nick DeMichel put together for us, highlighting some of the successes this past year, including the first Macedonian Women's Conference and the first Macedonia Symposium, and a very historic Solun Human Rights Forum in Solun or Thessaloniki in Greek, in Greece. We'll be announcing next week, and Gordan will tell you a little bit more about our medical equipment donation, but we've done numerous cultural programming, educational programming, 80 plus meetings and engagements with policymakers around the world, which Gordan is going to tell you also about. But some of the programs that I'm most excited about are particularly our youth programs, Birthright Macedonia, which saw 11 students this past year, the Achevska a fellow, congressional fellow, and we had Victoria Povoska, which was our first fellow this year in the office of Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan, who also is the co-chair of the Macedonian caucus in Congress, as well as our scholarship program, the Beethoven Scholarship, that's administered and given out by the Canadian charity Nova Generation, and we've given out 20 scholarships. So with that, I just want to mention that among our group here, before I turn it over to UMD Macedonia and Europe Director, we have our Chairman, RG Bellio, which I'm going to turn over to say a few words after I highlight some folks. We also have Nicholas Taw from our advisory council calling in from France. We have our board member, Philip Yotevsky, on. I see past board members, Straiko and Natasha, and our communications advisor, Alistair Stewart, calling in Scotland. So I'm really happy that they're all part of this conversation. And, feel free to ask questions of anyone. But RG, why don't we turn it over to you to say a few words, and then we'll have Gordan take the floor.
No, certainly. Thank you, Meto. And Zdravo, Makedonci prijatelji. RG Bellio, chairman of the board. I've been a part of the UMD now for, oh gosh, coming on 18 some odd years, a long time Indiana representative, and been on the board for 4 or 5 years, and now chairman for a year and a half, 2 years. No, 2023 was a really good year for us. We certainly have challenges were not only, obviously within the Republic of Macedonia, within our diaspora groups, primarily in, Bulgaria, Greece, Albania, the ones that we primarily focus on. But, we are doing the things, the UMD continues to do the things, I should say, that, the Republic has continued to fail on. And that is why, despite all of us having incredibly limited time, despite us all, again, having other responsibilities and tasks and things that we need to accomplish, the UMD remains a priority not only for me, but for all of us, right? That's why there are 20 some odd of us, on today. And, we may likely hold another one of these before the end of the year. But the Macedonia is near and dear to our hearts and to our souls and to our families, and that's why we continue to fight the fight that we've been fighting for, over 100 plus years for Macedonia. Gordan has been doing amazing work in Macedonia on the ground. Meto, even on a volunteer basis, is doing an amazing job. But a lot more needs to continue to be done, and we have some high expectations for 2024. And with your help, I think we will certainly get there.
Thank you, RG. And Before I turn it over to Gordan, I also want to recognize Katerina Boyska-Stoikoski from the embassy or the Macedonian embassy in Washington, D.C. She's the Deputy Chief of Mission, and we've had a strong partnership over the years and hold our annual Macedonian masquerade ball at the embassy in DC, which will be on January 13th. And so we're very excited to continue that partnership. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gordan. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and he's going to share his presentation.
Thank you, Meto. Thank you a lot. I'm so grateful I see you all today united for these Christmas holidays, I would say. We're always here to get back together and discuss about our work, our activities, our programs that we all did in 2023. So I will try to present that in a presentation where I'm going to discuss a little bit more on I would start generalizing on what is Macedonia, how it was created, what is Macedonia doing now, how people are seeing and feeling the country, how are we proceeding with our work, and then I will explain on why UMD was created, why do we work, and what are our activities and goals for the upcoming year. So the creation of the country we saw as a 2 point of views, which was harmonizing and traditional tenets as a comprehensive analysis of constitutional consolidation, which means that back in the 90s, when the country was created, people were facing a dual kind of views of how this country needs to be created. And therefore, there was kind of a challenge on what to accept, whether the modern or institutional pathways, or try to institutionalize the traditional thoughts and feelings and knowledge that we gain as a product from our ancestors. Therefore, we had kind of a civil allegiance and cultural heritage, which was exploring the intersection within constitutional framework, meaning that people were trying to persuade themselves that a lot of traditional thoughts needed to be improved into institutional ways, trying to explain them in an organizational style, challenging the diversity within the country, as well as the feeling of nationalism between the people. Therefore, in order to continue our pathway, Macedonia as a country proceeded as a constitutional identity, having the symbolic relationship between the civic concept and traditional principles, which means that a lot of people were experiencing or feeling as a complete Macedonians, and others felt a little bit less, and they transferred into grouping themselves into different ethnic groups, which followed us to a different concept of what we thought is going to create, and created a modern institutional concept, which brought a lot of ethnicities together within the country. And with that kind of legalization, we are proceeding forward, meaning that having in mind the dynamic times that we are facing right now and the global politics regarding Macedonia, is that we need to continue the institutional way of dealing with this progress of the country, which some of the people are pro that, and some of the people are against. So this point lead us to 2 point of view for the country, and whether those are that the country is prosperous, and the others that country are seen as a failed state. On one side, people might explain that Macedonia is pursuing a European perspective. We are in the last phase of approaching that accession process of the European Union and becoming equal member with all 27 member states. We have exemplary economic milestones. If we see the numbers, we will see that in the investments in this year is probably the best year for foreign investments in Macedonia. And we have a very favorable business environment, which means that we are open to everyone, and we have a quality working force. Therefore, the country adhere to the European work standards, and we are facing a progress, which means that we need to respect the regulations that are taught by the European and global organization, and with that fulfill all the requirements that we have as a country. However, we still have to satisfy different spectrum of commitments, and a lot work needs to be done. However, it is represented that if we do not go through the suggested kind of ways given by the international organizations, we cannot do those changes within the country. On the other side, we are addressing governance challenges. We have deficient standards, which means that a lot of people are not satisfied with the work of the government. And a lot of people are facing different problems on the daily level. What we can see that finances, or let's say the funding of the people, is not the main problem anymore, but is the daily standard that the government, I mean the Republic, is offering to the people. Therefore, people are reevaluating the global representation of the country, meaning that we had organized one of the biggest events in the European level. We are always present in the international organizations, and we are represented on a global level with different embassies and consular offices. However, people are not satisfied with the services they give, with a lot of reasons. People are becoming nostalgic on the sports landscape. Once the sport country, or what was the example of the sport on the European level, people started to seeing as a negative point. We see that sports industry is failing down every year, and we need to revitalize that. And last but not least is the countering corruption and enhancing organizational integrity, which is the hot topic every day in the country, and we see more and more people addressing to these points. We saw international organizations as well as global partners of the country telling us and explaining us that we need to work a lot on the corruption and on the standard of living. However, coming from that point, we must focus on, or see how the country is fostering the diaspora engagement, and how diaspora is nurtured by the country. So Macedonia as a country has a national strategy for diaspora, which was voted in back in 2019 by the government. However, we don't see any implementation of the national strategy. The diaspora is served by two national institutions, that is the Immigration Agency and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We are not seeing here the Ministry of Diaspora, because it was cancelled 2 years ago with the new government, and I believe there should be another agency for the diaspora. Immigration Agency deals with people who were born in Macedonia and left their homes, immigrated to another country, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs deals with the whole community of diaspora, which unfortunately does not satisfy the needs of the Macedonian communities all around the world. Despite representing the largest electorate, the diaspora is excluded from the social realm, which means that not yet diaspora's vote is not respected kind of in the country, is not taken into consideration. However, we believe that this might change in the next elections coming in the next year. Eligibility of the diaspora for invest in Macedonia. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities and there are different incentives for diaspora members to invest in the free industrial zones and in general in the country. And whoever is interested, we are able to provide those informations for the investment opportunities in Macedonia. And by lacking the organization between the diaspora members or lacking the good relations of the state with the diaspora members, we have ignorance of the country's potential. Therefore, a lot of people are not informed well on the incentives or the opportunities they have as a diaspora member in the country itself. And with that, we cannot take the full potential of the diaspora into helping or kind of engaging in the development process or integration process of the country itself. So advantages and opportunities for the Macedonian diaspora. Here's a list of some of them. That is the M card provided by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I believe not a lot of recipients of the M card has a sufficient usage of it. There is a new project which is called Green Finance Facility. It is supported by International Office for Migration, a UN body, and a European Bank for Development, as well as the UNDP, and several banks in Macedonia, and focuses mostly on granting physical people or private people and private entities which are formed by diaspora members within the country to help them reconstruct their home, their real estate, or their private entities. As I mentioned before, there are certain opportunities for direct investment in Macedonia, and those are kind of substitution to the funds that you will invest and help in the future. But I would like to share, if somebody's interested, I will share all the information about it. There are different possibilities for retirement in Macedonia, and I believe Macedonia is a good country where elder population can retire and have a sufficient life, which is part of the strategy for Macedonia to get more elder population with the retirement funds that the country is offering. There are calls for cultural projects, which means that Macedonian organizations in the diaspora can apply in the Ministry of Culture for cultural projects that they want to organize in the diaspora. And also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is granting projects up to 5,000 euros for diaspora organizations if they want to organize something during the year. Unfortunately, due to the lack of funds, not always those grants can satisfy all the calls from the diaspora organizations. Having said all of that, we see that Macedonia as a country has a potential for progress and development. However, due to the situation that we are stated in the past 30 years, Macedonia never developed a kind of a diplomatic relations and strategy on a Macedonian way on how to approach global partners and representatives, as well as attract a sufficient potential from the diaspora members. And for the gents that are present on this call with me today, and I have a great honor to be part of their team, Meto Kolovski, Arjibelio, Alexander Mitrevski, Stoyan Nikolov, and from the people that you can see on the picture, our chair and the board member Stephanie Taskova from Australia, the newly elected chair in UMD for Sweden, Mirjana Numovska, myself, and Mr. Lou Vlasher from Naples. So the organization, as I said before, was formed in 2004. It is truly an honor to be part of this team, having in mind that the organization was formed primarily due to a lack of kind of a voice of Macedonians and representation on a global level. And that was kind of my inspiration on how to become an ambassador of our country, having in mind that everywhere we go, we can meet some Macedonians. We are always welcome to their homes and restaurants or businesses. Um, um, uh, it is something that it 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 must stay on the ground on a global level in order to be the positive example on the representation of Macedonia, but also an organization can help in the development process of the country. So the organization's name, as you all know, it's United Macedonian Diaspora. Our headquarters are in Washington, D.C., and our scope of work is international. I'm saying that because we are working in several countries, on several continents. So we have positions in Washington, D.C., in Toronto, Canada, in Australia, in Brazil, and from 2022 in Macedonia. And the Macedonia office covers the Europe as a region. Our mission is to be dedicated to addressing the interests and needs of Macedonians and Macedonian communities globally. And our approach is achieved through charitable, educational, public, and other community efforts. All of our members are members on a voluntary basis in the organization, except me, and it's a great honor for me to work for this organization. So I'm going to mention a couple of UMD projects which are organized on a daily level, or projects that kind of puts the stable ground on the organization and brings back Macedonians within the country. So some of the pillars of the organization is Birthright Macedonia, which is a program dedicated for students which are second and third, fourth generations Macedonians living in the diaspora. And it's a 3-week program where we get together a group of students and offer them internships in Macedonia. They're living in Macedonia for 3 weeks, working in the country and visiting one of the most famous places as Skopje, Ohrid, and Galička Svadba. And we are strengthening their roots, reconnecting them to the country, and we are happy to see them creating a family from every year. The second project that we lead is the Macedonian language courses, and we are happy to organize the 4th semester as an online Macedonian language courses, and we are happy that we have a lot of students who are not Macedonian taking the Macedonian classes, but also giving a chance for not only kids to study Macedonian, but to adults as well. So all friends of Macedonia, Macedonians globally, I invite you all to take the classes or give it to somebody as a Christmas gift. 40 Under 40 is a program that UMD has acknowledging the successful young Macedonians or Macedonians up to 40 years. And every year we try to acknowledge 40 Macedonians under 40 years and to kind of share their successes with their peers and reconnect them as a potential professionals that are going to help the national development in the spheres they work and they are successful in. Generation M is an organization for the young Macedonians, or our youth organization, as we call it. And through that, we discuss a lot of youth programs, a lot of youth engagement, and how young people to connect with their peer groups within the country. UMD Human Rights Fund It's a fund that is dedicated to protect the Macedonian human rights on a global level. And with that fund, we are trying to fight and to represent equally our our Macedonians and our struggles that we've faced in the past years. With that human rights fund, we were able to organize the Human Rights Forum in Solun this year, and I'm happy that hopefully we are going to organize that forum on an annual basis. UMD Heritage Preservation Fund is it's a fund dedicated to cultural preservation or heritage preservation, and with this fund, we are trying to help our historical sites to get renovated, to get developed, but also to help the cultural projects such as the musical festival, Macedonian Cultural Festival in Albania, all these years, and I'm very happy to be able to help and kind of be partnered with this project. And for the first time this year, we had UMD Achevska Congressional Fellow dedicated to the first Macedonian ambassador, Ljubica Achevska, and to have our first intern in the Congress through this congressional fellowship, which I am very proud of, because so we are opening a door to our Macedonian students to enter the Congress, experience what is to represent somebody's office and how other communities are advocating for their nations. With that has been said, 2023, I would say that it was very exciting and super successful for UMD. Meto explained some of our activities that we did in the past year, and I'm very happy that next Wednesday, December 27th, we are going to grant the donation in medical equipment to the Bitola hospital in amount of more than $460,000, and I'm very happy in cooperation to cooperate with such people, and which I cannot forget to mention. There is the World Medical Relief and the TDO Medical Mission, as well as our Macedonian champion, as I call it, Alexander Bejankovski, who helped in all this, in all the process. And hopefully we're going to be able to do this on an annual basis to different hospitals, because as we all know, that the health industry in Macedonia is not in the best shape, but we all need it to kind of help the process into modernizing it. We held the first Macedonia Symposium and Experience. We held the first Macedonian Women Conference and the historic Human Rights Forum in Solun. So these kind of activities are helping us into realizing the potential of the diaspora and how to reconnect with the institutional works, and also hear some of the experienced officials of the country which were leading the country in the past. So try to learn from the history and how to progress in the future. Without visiting other places in other countries, all these kind of projects won't be able for us. Therefore, we kept ourselves busy into traveling the Balkan region, see the struggles over there of the Macedonians and the Macedonian minorities, and learn from more developed and experienced countries on how to address these problems on an international level. However, still, I must mention here that we are in great cooperation and in communication with all the Macedonian organization on a global level, and re-establish the communication with international institutions and governmental institutions, due to a simple reason that we must be on the table, and we must discuss all the matters openly whether or not we agree or disagree. And with a 1 year operation in Macedonia and with hard work done in the United States and Canada and Australia, I believe that with everything that we do on an annual basis, um, there is a huge potential on how the diaspora can be engaged with the progress of the country, with the understanding on the international level, and help our ambassadors, our diplomatic representatives on how they can better their work, but also try to approach to the governmental institutions and help them into approaching these kind of challenges that we face. However, in order to proceed our work, UMD is dedicated into building strategy for 2024, and we have several goals that we must or we want to realize, and that is standardizing the Birthright Macedonia program, which means that like any other birthright program from any other nation, Birthright Macedonia's goals is to be free for all the students once we are on a certain level, as well as connect with the national institutions and private sector in Macedonia and giving them human potential at least for 3 weeks, if not giving them professionals to be able to work for Macedonian companies and institutions in the future. Macedonian language courses for the diaspora. I'm very happy that we are now having the biggest number of the students, and most of them, I would say, are friends of Macedonia. And I'm very happy to see international community learning Macedonian, but also a lot of Macedonian young kids, which are really eager to pronounce that accent, and I'm very happy to see all those students progressing into learning Macedonian language. Seasonal camps for the Macedonian diaspora, summer and winter session. We truly believe that Macedonia has a potential, either touristic or cultural potential to organize a seasonal camps, which is going to be, I would say, touristic, but it can be also retirement potential and also investing, realizing the investing potential of the country, and therefore we want to organize a Macedonian program tailored for individuals in the age category interested in travel and relocation to Macedonia. Development of a service application for medical and life needs. We are in the phase of cooperating with another organization for a medical application, which is going to be like a medical booking, and people from the diaspora who has relatives in Macedonia will be able to order them online, a doctor or a pharmacy or a caretaker for their relatives and friends in Macedonia. They can book an online session or a physical session with a doctor or a caretaker, or they can order medical drugs to their friends and families in Macedonia, as well as book a session with a dentist. The other application that we want to create is an application for basic life needs, which means that, again, the diaspora members can order life services to their relatives and friends, meaning that through that application, you can order purchases from a supermarket to their homes, or cleaning or maintaining the real estate that you have over here in Macedonia, as well as paying bills or just sending presents to your families and friends. UMD program for facilitating legal document processes on a daily basis. A lot of questions and a lot of people are writing us in order to help them with the legal document processes. And even though we try to stay professional and help them on a daily basis, we truly believe that UMD has a potential to to create a UMD program dedicated to legal services, where we're going to connect people with special attorneys and accountant offices or consultant groups in Macedonia. And last but not least is the creation of the Macedonian social network. Due to a lack of organization of the Macedonian community and the diaspora in general, and not knowing the potential and their daily occupation, it is a truly challenge for us. It's going to be hard, but it is really something that we need to do it in order for Macedonia as a country to have a database of its own people and learn on how they can connect professionally, but also on a daily need. So this Macedonian social network will be kind of a Macedonian LinkedIn, where people will be able to create their own profiles, upload their own resumes, but also for the companies to create the kind of corporate profiles and try to attract more human capital, Macedonian human capital from abroad to the country, or to the subsidiary companies that they have on a global level. This came as an idea from a group of Macedonians, and also from owners of one of the largest Macedonian companies, explaining to us that Macedonia's working force is now a lot emigrating from their companies. They're investing a lot in the human capital. However, they have very hard times into getting the professional potential, the real professional potential of the workers. And with that, thank you very much for your attention, and please consider donating to UMD, because without your support, we won't be able to do any of our work, and we won't be able to realize our project and service you as a diaspora members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gordan, for your wonderful presentation. Those of you, there are some links in the chat for the various different programs that UMD runs, and so feel free to check those out. And Gordan will plug his email in the chat if you want to reach out. So with that, I'm going to end this recording, and we'll open it up for Q&A.